Today I'm going to give you the secret to learning 156 times faster than everyone else. So I started learning long before I can even remember, just the same as you probably. But when I started learning, I was completely average, or maybe even below average. I mean, I just did everything about average. Well, I didn't have any real interests or hobbies. I was in Boy Scouts early on, but it really wasn't until middle school that I started to actually reach somewhere. I still was average at the start of middle school, and I had barely even made the advanced math category. So I was an average person in the learning space until I started cross country. And cross country, I started out because I just felt like it. I didn't really have a reason particularly, so I just like went into it. And when I started it, I got like 20 minutes for the 2 miles. Pretty bad if you don't know the numbers. So by the end of the season, though, after all of it, I did 15 minutes for the 2 mile. It's a pretty big difference for people who don't do cross country. So that really taught me how to learn. Like that was the first thing that taught me how to learn. And sports aren't exactly the same as learning like school stuff or whatever, but it did transfer, at least for me, because what I realized was when I got better in cross country, at the same time, I really did start to get better in school as well. I started getting better grades and stuff. And then once I hit high school, I just did bunches of honors and AP classes. And then I even did bunches of extracurriculars, like anything from coding to football, lots of them. So, and I did pretty good at all of these. So how did I really do this? I guess you're probably asking right now. So what I did for this was for all of these things, I just put passion into it. And you probably wouldn't be able to do that for everything all that easily, but let me explain how I think you can do this, even if you're like bored at school or whatever, and you don't actually care in any way. I think there's a number of strategies to reach the goal of actually like being passionate about whatever you're trying to do. So I suppose the idea of like passion is kind of like a hand wave of what the skill is going to be. But I think I think it really is the combining the consistent factor between all of the different things I've learned. And I think even for things that you aren't very passionate about, you can apply this also. And I think there are specific strategies that I've come up with to be able to have passion for everything. For example, if you don't like school, which most people don't, if you're bored at school and you just don't like it, I'll start with like studying and stuff, but then it's gonna be hard to find passion for it. But I think the way that you can do this is you can do something like a competition. You can so even when you're feeling this, I think one way that you can go about like feeling passionate about it is by starting a competition. Maybe doing cross country, like I said, was a way that I feel competition for something. So like becoming athletic and like getting good at and getting good at cross country was created because of the competition and the feeling of like I need to be ahead of these people. And that can also be like put into school. Like I know there are like clubs for business or a science or like coding or whatever. I know there are lots of different ones for that. So competition is a way that you can get like used to having fun or having passion for something, not just fun exactly. But it's not the only way, I don't think. So the other way that I think about it, even more so than the competition angle, like if you don't want to join a competition or anything, then specifically for just learning stuff and studying a little bit better, I think an easy way to do it is just like to find some sort of pain, like create pain when you don't reach whatever goal you're set for yourself, such as like knowing this particular thing and like getting a grade on the test. Like if you fail that, then there should be some sort of pain. Like for example, like a future pain even can work. Like so, if I want to go to college, Sometimes I think like I'm going to have to pay for this a class in college. Like if it's a college class in high school, then I think I'm gonna have to pay for this class in college if I don't pass it. So I think like I have to study in a good way, and I have to study very particularly to actually complete my to actually be able to not pay this fee and pay it with time and all when I actually get to college. So just feeling pain, and especially the future pain, or I've heard it phrased as anti-vision, like having a bad future as a possibility, and then you have to do everything you can to avoid that future. That's one thing I've heard. But so other than that, there's pains like risk, even like putting money down on something, and then using that feeling of risking money on a particular thing, such as business. For example, people put like risk down, like they put money into something, and then they become experts in the field because they absolutely need to overcome whatever obstacle or reach whatever goal that they've set for themselves, or they lose the business, they lose their money, they lose everything. And that also applies to like a job. For example, that the same thing. Like if you fail, if you aren't an expert, then you will get fired. I've heard a lot of people say that that's a pretty obvious one, but that's the same thing as the future pain and the anti-vision that I was just talking about. Like, yeah, you see in the future that you're gonna get fired or you're gonna lose a bunch of money, and that ends up with you saying that I have to finish this, and that's like exactly the reason that you'd go about this way. So I made this video because like I've seen way too many like study videos, you know, like just like the straight up like way that you're gonna learn at any particular moment, and I haven't seen any like big picture type ones, and I feel like the big picture is what actually gets you ahead, because really that's what happens, because that's the most obvious thing that got me from where I was as an average learner, average at school, average at everything, to like being ahead in a lot of different fields. So I really think this is like the most important way to actually learn stuff, and it might not get you 156 times the amount, but I think it can in a way. So that's all I was going to say today, so bye.